Process of defeating the radical left, the Marxists, the anarchists, the agitators, the looters, and people who, in many instances, have absolutely no clue what they are doing. We will never allow an angry mob to tear down our statues, erase our history, indoctrinate our children, or trample on our freedoms.
All right, folks. Well, a Pride festival taking place this weekend in the largest city in Idaho, Boise, is sparking controversy. Pride Boise is a 3-day event that starts today, was supposed to, and featured drag story time and drag kids, a show performed by children ranging in ages from 11 to 18. The event's website urges attendees to, quote, cheer them on as they bring drag to the younger generation.
Okay, so let's stop it right there. Why do we need to emphasize a show featuring drag queens for 11-year-old, 12-year-old, 13-year-old? These are children. These are children who are developing mentally and physically. They're at puberty. They have no business looking at this kind of nonsense and being told it's okay to be like this. Let's protect our children. What's going on in the United States of America? We have lost our bloody minds in this country. There's no doubt about that.
I'm not making this up. But to get this, just yesterday they canceled their drag kids performance. You know, I'm assuming that was a real thing. I'm always leery in the news world that we're getting set up because this is such a bad idea. I assume it was real. And then they canceled it, they say, over safety concerns for the kids and parents. But they also had multiple sponsors drop out within 24 hours of the announcement.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, good people. If I lived in Boise, Idaho, or wherever Zion's Bank is located, I would withdraw my money today. Because when you speak with your money, you're speaking volumes. Because this entire world revolves around what? Money. And people are greedy. That's right. Take your money out of that bank, and every place else that donated to this cause, boycott them. That's what you have to do. Boycott these businesses.
Let's bring back our panel to discuss. Newsmax insider and executive vice president of the New York State Republican Committee, John Burnett, and host of Bullet Point Nation and author of 13 and a Half Reasons Why Not to Be a Liberal, Judd Dunning. Judd, here's what bugs me, is the words kids drag show, those words should never be said together. And the idea that that was going to go on, even that somebody would think that, to me is dangerous.
I don't have to wait for a response from one of these guys on the panel. I can tell you how wrong that is right now. Look at this ridiculous picture. How old are these kids? What, 8, 9, 10 years old? This is ridiculous. And look at all the parents out in the audience. They think this is okay? Really? You think this is okay? There's something horribly wrong here. And then we had, well, you know what, I can't say that because then the video won't get any playtime. But this is ridiculous.
In the woke world, we've reached a time that only folks from the 1990s are able to recognize a male and female symbol, man. It is getting more and more complicated. Kids drags, absolutely. Now, I will confess, 1984, I was a powder puff cheerleader, so I did have my cross-dressing moment in time. But really what's most interesting here is we're continuing to super sexualize our kids. So we as parents are being forced into a contrary position where we have to mention sex early to these children. I want to give it up, though, to Zion's Bank, because here you have a Mormon bank that said, hey, this compromises our values.
Yeah, you can say all that now because somebody at the top said, hey, you know what? We better pull out of this thing. This thing is red hot. We don't want anything to do with this. Yeah, it's a bit too late for that, sweetheart, because now we know where your interests really lie. Yeah, see, when you try to please everybody in the community, you wind up pleasing no one. What's the old saying? Go woke and go broke.
I feel like I want to move all my money from my 19 accounts from Chase over to a bank with a conscience. So we have to support with these corporations pushing back. We have to attack the dialogue with a normal conversation because we love our kids. They're forcing us. The conversation has to happen. Yeah, but it's deplorable.
Yeah, that's interesting. And John, it wasn't just local sponsors. The festival was also sponsored by corporate American and big names like Wells Fargo, Citibank, Target, Courtyard by Marriott, and Walmart. I mean, that's kind of frightening that that's where we are. All these companies supported kids in drag. Now,
did you hear those companies, good people out there? Pay strict attention. They said Target, they said Walmart, they said Wells Fargo. Those are places you have to stay away from. Don't give those companies your money. If you do, then you're supporting all this nonsense. Really, do you want your 5-year-old child to come home and start cross-dressing? Is that what you want? Really? All right, if you do.
I'm assuming this information is all accurate, and I'm always leery. I don't want to get set up because, John, this is such a bad idea. I can't believe anybody actually was thinking of it seriously. But corporations, and I think, John, we want to make clear that if adults want to go have a drag show, that's one thing. It's the fact you're including kids. That's the problem here.
Right. I can't name a state or city that doesn't have some type of LGBT parade or event, not just during Pride Month, but on occasion throughout the year. So no one objects to that because it's already socially acceptable.
Well, now, if you're over 18 years old in the United States, you're considered an adult and you can do whatever you like on most things. Well, we're not going to talk about those couple things you can't do, but we're going to focus on this. And if you're over 18 and you want to do all this, more power to you. Look at the kids in this picture. They're nowhere near 18 years old. But mommy and daddy think it's okay to do this. Right. You keep thinking that, mommy and daddy. That's what's wrong with America today. Everybody wants their freedom. You know what? This is all a bunch of nonsense. And kids have no business watching this stuff.
But as you pointed out, you and Judd pointed out, the issue now is invoking children in terms of drag queen. And I live in New York, and the mayor already announced that he's actually bringing drag queen shows inside the classroom. So we have to look at this from the perspective of civic education, public school education, as well as all these other things that seemingly want control, and as Judd pointed out, hypersexualize our children. These children have devices, electronic devices, whether it be a laptop or a phone or a tablet. Once they start exploring, who knows where this goes?
That's the real problem. Nobody really knows what kids are looking at because parents are so busy out there trying to earn a living for their kids and themselves that they lose track of what's going on at home. I tell you what, read the Bible. Read Sodom and Gomorrah. Oh, well, that was back in ancient times, and maybe that didn't even happen. Yeah, right. It's happening right before your very eyes, and you refuse to accept the fact. Grow up and grow a set and take responsibility for your children's actions.
Power needs to return to the parents who are outraged at this in terms of their children being exposed this early and they have no control. We need to return that back to the parents. And kudos to the sponsors for pulling out. The other woke sponsors, they need to stop being woke and actually start, awakening.
Yeah, and they need to stop being guilted into this kind of stuff. There's an appropriate age for people to explore these kinds of ideas. That's not it. That's too young.
It's a real shame what's going on in America today with these special interest groups, and everybody wants their rights. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you have to use some common sense at some point. That's all I'm going to say for today. If you like what you heard, please subscribe to this channel, and we'll be back again real soon with some more shocking content. Take care of yourself.